Do you lie at night in your bed, tossing and turning, not being able to fall asleep? Do you wake up in the night not able to fall back asleep? Do you wake up in the morning feeling not so refreshed, fatigued throughout the day? Well, do I have an answer for you? Introducing the revolutionary new Magic Sleep Powder. Introducing the revolutionary new Magic Sleep Tea. Essential oil, Magic Sleep Juice, Magic Sleep Pillow, jewel included. I know that seems crazy. Magic pills, potions, even pillows to help you get a good night's rest. But that's what companies are selling, and I'm dead against that. I want to give you the proper evidence-based tips to help you get a good night's rest. First off, I want to give a huge thank you to Cotton Incorporated for sponsoring this video. And make sure you stick around till the end because I'm going to be answering all of your sleep questions. Let's chat about all the things you need to do during the day before the night even starts to make sure you get a good night's sleep. Number one, exercise. I know it sounds crazy, but physical activity improves the quality of your sleep and extends its duration. So even if you're only going out for a 10-minute brisk walk, do it. Morning, night, evening, it doesn't matter. Get your physical activity in. Number two is diet. First and foremost, you want to avoid eating too close to bedtime because that can stimulate your gastric juices and make you really uncomfortable when you're going to bed. On top of that, you want to avoid spicy foods, overly citrusy foods, and something that a lot of people do before going to sleep, that's alcohol. Because you may fall asleep fine on alcohol, but it will hurt the quality of your sleep and you won't wake up as well rested. Number three, naps. I'm not gonna lie, I love naps. But naps are a double-edged sword because they are refreshing and they can give you some energy as long as you keep them somewhere between 15 to 30 minutes. However, they will decrease your sleepiness, which is a good thing, but then it'll make it harder for you to fall asleep at night because you're not sleepy. So if you can, avoid the nap unless the circumstances call for it. Caffeine. Get your coffee fix before lunch because caffeine has a half-life of 6 hours, meaning it can take up to 12 hours for it to be fully eliminated out of your system. And don't forget, caffeine is a diuretic, so it makes you want to pee. One, embrace the darkness. Dim your lights. When you have bright lights, it affects your melatonin hormone, and then it makes it more difficult for you to fall asleep and to stay asleep. Two, decrease the amount of blue light exposure you get towards the evening. I'm talking about iPads, iPhones, computers. All of that blue light hurts your melatonin hormone and again makes it difficult for you to fall asleep and stay asleep. Three, make your room cool. And I'm not talking about decorations, I'm talking about the temperature. When you're trying to go to sleep, your body naturally wants to lower its body temperature. If your room is cooler, it'll make it that much easier to fall asleep. Four, hack your bedding. And I'm talking specifically about your sheets. Make sure your sheets are made 100% of cotton. Synthetic fibers will sleep warmer and keep more bacteria on throughout washes. Plus, cotton just feels good to the skin, and that breathability, that's clutch. Make sure it's pitch black in the room. Even if you have a candle flickering on the side table, that still affects your sleep. Two, keep your cell phone alerts off. I'm talking about that do not disturb feature. No one should be texting you and waking you up in the middle of the night. Sleep is important and it should be a priority. What happens in case of emergency someone needs to reach me? Well, most of the phones nowadays have a customizable do not disturb feature that allows calls from your contacts to get through, especially if they dial twice. Three, no pets. And this is a tough one for even me to swallow. I love sleeping with Bear or Roxy, but the more you sleep with a dog, the more sleep interruptions you get, the worse quality of sleep you're gonna get. Four, the most important point of them all. If after 15 minutes of tossing and turning, you're unable to fall asleep, get out of the bed and do something relaxing, and then try and go back to sleep after 15 minutes. And I'm not talking about checking out social media on your phone. The last thing I want you to do is to have FOMO because your friends are out doing something fun and you're getting ready for the next day at work. Before we go, I want to answer some of your questions that you have about sleep. How many hours should the average person sleep per night? I've said this before, you should sleep 7 to 9 hours per night on average. If you're consistently getting less than 7 hours of sleep, you're gonna see a decrease in your performance, both cognitively and physically. If I drink caffeine in the morning after a short night's sleep, does that make up for it? There have been some studies on this in the military where they give caffeine to sleep-deprived soldiers. Some of their physical tasks, like a reaction time, can go back to baseline, even though they had a short night's sleep, but still you will see negative effect, especially in the cognitive area. What can I take to help me fall asleep? Really, my first step when someone walks into my office is to make sure that their sleep hygiene is on point, that they've done all the behavioral modifications that we can, and only then will I begin to discuss some of the pharmacological options. But those are never my first resort. What are some tips to fight jet lag? I mentioned some tips on fighting jet lag in my travel video, but what you can do is plan ahead and actually adjust to the time zone that you're traveling to before you go on the trip. And once you're already there, use the sun to your advantage to reset your circadian rhythm. How dangerous is driving while sleepy? Very dangerous. In fact, it can be even considered more dangerous and is probably responsible for more accidents on the road than driving under the influence of alcohol. When you're drinking alcohol, your reactions are delayed. When you're drowsy, you can have moments of something known as microsleep, where for a second or maybe even for a few seconds, you actually fall asleep with your eyes open. And there, it's not a delayed reaction time, it's no reaction time. So you can imagine how dangerous that is. What are the most important factors to getting good sleep? Well, that goes back to my 3 pillars of health, but instead I have 3 pillars for sleep, and that's QQC: quantity, quality, and consistency. And consistency meaning going to sleep at the same time every night, weekend or weekday. If I had a pill that boosted productivity, increased fat loss, and decreased the chance of you developing some diseases, you probably jump on it, right? Now you have all the tools to get a good night's sleep and the reasons as to why getting a good night's sleep is important.